A therapy method used by millions of people worldwide wasn't invented in a psychology lab. It wasn't discovered by studying patients on a couch. It was born in a Zulu village by a man who almost got arrested by the Nazis, became a soldier, escaped a prison camp, and then spent 16 years living among people whose entire worldview was about to break psychology wide open. This is the strangest origin story in modern therapy, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why it actually makes perfect sense. Let's go back to 1925, Germany. A boy named Bert Hellinger is born into a devoutly Catholic family. As a teenager, while other boys his age were joining the Hitler Youth, he refused. That single decision marked him as an enemy of the state. Before they could come for him, he was drafted into the army at 17. He fought. He was captured. He became a prisoner of war in Belgium, and then he escaped. Most people who survive something like that come out broken. Hellinger came out with a different kind of clarity. He went back to Germany and did the one thing he'd wanted since he was a child. He became a priest. But here's the part nobody expects. The church was about to send him somewhere that would change everything, not just for him, but for millions of people he'd never meet. In the early 1950s, the church sent Hellinger to South Africa to live among the Zulu people. He thought he'd be there for a few years. He stayed for 16. He ran a school. He taught. He learned to speak Zulu so fluently that he could preach in it. But somewhere in those years, something started to shift in how he saw the world. Because in Zulu culture, there's a belief most Western people have never even considered. Your ancestors aren't gone. They're still here, still connected to you, still part of your daily life, still watching. In Zulu belief, there are three forces that shape a life: the earth, the sky, and the ancestors. And the ancestors were considered the most powerful of the three. Now here's where it gets interesting. Hellinger didn't just observe this from a distance, like an anthropologist taking notes. He lived it. He participated in their rituals. He even noticed something almost nobody had connected before, that many Zulu rituals had the exact same structure as the Catholic Mass he'd spent his whole life performing. Two completely different worlds, same underlying pattern, and that observation is the seed of everything that came next. Because if two unrelated cultures on opposite sides of the planet independently discovered the same structure, maybe that structure isn't cultural at all. Maybe it's human. And if it's human, it can be used to heal. When Hellinger finally returned to Germany, he wasn't the same man who left. He left the priesthood, and he started collecting pieces: psychoanalysis in Vienna, body therapy in America, Gestalt therapy, group dynamics, transactional analysis. One by one, he picked up tools from completely different schools of thought. But here's the thing, none of these tools, on their own, explained what he kept seeing in his sessions. Patients with the exact same pattern as a parent they barely knew. People who felt guilt for things that happened before they were even born. Families where the same tragedy seemed to echo, generation after generation. And then it clicked. What he was seeing in European therapy rooms was the exact same thing the Zulu had been telling him for 16 years. You are not separate from your family system, living or dead. The unresolved pain of someone before you doesn't disappear. It looks for somewhere to go, and often it finds you. In the 1970s, Hellinger started developing a method. He called it Family Constellations. And it wasn't European psychology. It wasn't Zulu spirituality either. It was something that had never existed before, born at the exact intersection of both, like jazz. Not African, not European. A completely new sound, made possible only because both existed, and the core idea was almost shockingly simple. You are part of something larger than yourself. You are connected to your ancestors, whether you believe it or not, and the things that were never spoken, the people who were excluded, the grief that was never released. They're still in the system, still looking for resolution. This idea spread through Germany, then Austria, then the world. Today, there are practitioners using this method on every continent. Millions of people have sat in a room and watched a stranger, someone with zero information about their family, suddenly start crying for a grandparent they never met. And nobody can fully explain why it works, but it does. Hellinger passed away in 2019, but what he discovered didn't come from a textbook. It came from a war, a prison camp, a priesthood, and 16 years in a village most people will never hear of. And that's what makes this story so important to understand. Because in the next video, I'm going to show you exactly what happens inside one of these sessions, what it actually looks like when a stranger starts feeling your grandmother's grief, and why scientists studying trauma are starting to take it seriously. If this story surprised you, imagine what comes next. Subscribe, and I'll see you there.